Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings.
Good.
How you doing today?
Good.
How you doing today? Welcome
Morning,
to First
Earthlings.
Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. He'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
It's time
arrived.
to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We
It's
have
time to
arrived.
demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand
First
the
Contact
truth.
Radio. We have arrived. First Contact. Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing? Welcome back from the weekend. Hope you had a good time. Lots going on this weekend. Let's get to it. Or this week. Okay. Right here. Today we're on the 14th of April. We have a moon sign in Libra, and we have a sun sign in Aries. So fire and air. So the way fire and air work together are very simple. We have the air that can fan the flames in a nice smooth manner to make the air warm, or we have the fire can get out of control because the wind can blow so much that it can just push it all around, or it can completely blow the fire out, depending on how well they work together. So we have fire as ideas, air as words and actions. So we have the ideas being expressed through the words and actions working together. It makes some nice combinations. Now we see that we have some lessons we're dealing with today. We're looking at the squares and the triangles primarily. So we've had a number of them already have lined up and had some aspects going into today. Libra and Jupiter, which is an expansion. Libra and Pluto, which is deep transformation. We've got Mercury going into Jupiter, which is an expansion of our communication. And we have Mercury going into Pluto, which is transformation, deep transformation in our communication. So in both cases, we've got Jupiter involved and we've got Pluto involved. So Pluto is that deep transformative energy. It's because it's one of the planets that's way, way out there. So we think of it, if we're looking at ourselves, as something buried way deep within our consciousness, and our unconsciousness actually. And as it comes to the surface, we might not always know what it is because it's been at such dark depths. Doesn't mean it's bad, it's just been far away. Okay, so communication is one of the things that we're going to be dealing with today. And right there, Mercury, and of course the balance of Libra. Okay, Libra, there you go. And tonight, of course, is the lunar eclipse, which we're going to talk about momentarily. The numerology for today is a number 7. Here is how we came up with this number. 4 plus the 5, which is the 1 and the 4 for today, and the 2017 for the year. Altogether, it's a 16. 7 plus 5 plus 4, 16, and 16 is 1 plus 6 equals 7. So today would be a 7-tone day. So let me show you this one here. Here's our 7-tone, the Chariot. Okay, the Chariot has a secret. Chariot is learning how to steer by allowing spirit to be the guiding force, because spirit flows through the person resides in the armor, the person in the armor is in the vehicle is being pulled by 2 sphinx representing riddles of life. You got one black, one light, representing the opposites. So you've got the opposites, and the riddles of life are solved when we allow spirit to flow through us. And the armor is there to protect oneself because it is an indication that in the sea of energy, in the sea of life all around us, there's a constant communication, and we can feel these emotions hitting off of us. We wear the armor to protect ourselves so we're not knocked over by every single one that comes our way. Some of the characteristics we know about 7, it's the lucky number. Isn't just a number, lucky number, it's also spiritual, intelligent, analytical, focused, introspective, studious, knowledgeable, so on. A negative side can be aloof, distant, sarcastic. It deals with the tarot card of Chariot, which I just showed you, which is the astrological sign of Cancer, emotions and feelings. Okay? Now let me take a look at this one. Let's look at this one here. This is Libra. Right here. Lamed is the Hebrew letter for it. It has to do with an ox code of dealing with karma, balance, justice that comes. We are the ultimate justice in our life, and we sometimes go through life, many times go through life, creating our own karma by the things we do or the things we don't do. So that's important. And then, of course, the Emperor. This is the Emperor, he who sits in order. So we're setting things in order. Aries, we've got all these energies, so let's take a look over here where they fall upon this tree. Okay, this is the tree of life, and if you just imagine this symbol, and you can find out how everything falls in place, it helps you understand what's going on. So we're going to look at Aries. This is the Aries, the Emperor right here, going from wisdom down to the heart. Okay, that's that path. We look for the path of the Chariot, which is the numerology for today 7. It's taken us from understanding to severity. Down in here to Mars, which also happens to be the same element or planet that rules over Aries. So there's a connection here. And then we go to look at right here. There is Libra, and it's taking us back. So we could see a connection right here in the severity. So we've got the understanding that the warrior, spiritual warrior, has. We use that understanding to realize that we can't go fight war. We have to find peace. So we go and we go back to the heart where there's beauty. And the Emperor is doing the same thing over here, taking that wisdom and going straight to the path. So by looking at the symbol, every day you can just relate where you're at, look at the cards, look at the understandings, and the whole objective is always to find oneself back in the middle pillar. There's no right or wrong way. We are continually moving through this process each and every day. But if you just really get to understand this thing, is understanding the circles are the classrooms, and these are the paths between the classrooms. And we go into a classroom, we learn a lesson, and then we leave the classroom, we walk that particular path to the next classroom. And if we continue to practice this over and over and just learn, we always find that we're always going back to the middle, to that beauty, to that center pillar, to the foundation of things. And all these others are good. We sometimes need to go to extremes to learn things, but it's the middle that brings us back in synchronicity. Current moon phase, as we see, is 99% of the way full. A full moon will happen in just a number of hours from now. Tonight's sky, right here, Monday the 14th, total lunar eclipse happens very late tonight for the Americans. Meanwhile, Mars shines near the moon all night, and Mars is at its closest to the Earth tonight. In addition, Spica shines much closer to the moon than Mars does for the Americas. So this is what we're going to look at when we see, down here, when we see the sky tonight. The moon, see Mars, we got Spica just here, a little bit below it. Okay, it says we're looking east, southeast. Mayan Oracle, we're at a 10-tone day. 10 tones are called the planetary tone of manifestation. Here's the World Bridger, teaching us the lesson of life and death. So it's the manifestation of life and death. Lessons of life and death. Our guide for today is timelessness, the wizard. The warrior, using our mind, is our challenge for today in our activities. Exploration is our similarity. And the hidden power is our vision. The phrase for today is I perfect in order to equalize, producing opportunity. I seal the store of death with the planetary tone of manifestation. I'm guided by the power of timelessness. Okay, we're on the theme of the Earth, which is all about synchronicity and navigation, and we've made it quite a way along. So here we are, the 10th position on this 13-day journey. Spaceweather.com, solar wind currently at 376.67 kilometers per second. Planetary K-index is quiet between the 2 and the 3. Our coronal colds have moved away. However, we will still be feeling the effect from them in the form of solar wind. Our M-class flare possibility is up to 35 and going up to 40 in the next 24 to 48 hours. And geomagnetic storm activity is up there 35% as well in the high latitude, 25 in the mid. And last, let's look here at our Hebrew calendar, the Jewish calendar. Today is 14 Nisan, and today would be the first night of the first Seder for Passover. Passover officially begins tomorrow, so tonight is Passover Eve, so to speak. And it's called, what is done is called the Seder. So we've talked about that. I'm going to talk about it a little bit more as we go on. All right. And there you have it. That gets us started for today. UFO news is up next. Let's get to it.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk. Thank you very much. First story takes us up to Mars. Now remember, we saw the light like this. Well, guess what? Here's another image of the light, but from a different angle and distance. Mysterious light shows up in another Mars photo. The light recorded on the Mars surface was found by Street Cap 1, the same person that found the first light. It seems to be the same source of light as before, but viewed from a very different angle and further away than before. What's the use of having a $2 billion rover if these anomalies in the Mars photos are never explored? UFO researchers are finding daily for free, but did NASA care? Nope, they simply ignored the cries of the public and drove away, just as they did with all the other discoveries. Remember the Mars donut? Did they analyze it with the onboard tech to show the results? Nope. They did the flip it over and give the public a close-up HD of it? Nope. No wonder NASA wonders why UFO researchers just don't trust them. I'm on holiday and just browsing through earlier NASA photos. Okay. There you go. There's the light source from another distance. And of course, they'll come up with some other excuse, never a straight answer, because I guess they think Americans aren't able to handle the truth. Can you handle the truth? I know you can. You think there's others out there that will flip out when they see that? Perhaps. Okay, here we also are on Mars. Something else the rover caught. See anything in this picture that kind of looks out of place for just something that was just there, created naturally? This looks a little bit more tube-like, pipe-like. This is pipe-like structure found on Mars by the rover. This usual anomaly was discovered by UFO sightings hotspot of UFO YouTube. I watched a video and have to look at it. This object was discovered in a pipe-like appearance. It's near the edge of a rock and very well may be a carving on its side. Not far away from the pike, I found a broken face. It looks like it broke off a full statue when all the destruction hit Mars surface long ago. I love how the nose stands out so perfectly. Awesome evidence of an ancient intelligent life. Okay. So, very interesting. It's a 56-second video, so you can check it out. Let's see what you think this might be. There it is right there. Doesn't look quite normal, does it? Okay, a lot of great finds from on Mars. Certainly not being told the whole story. Okay, let's move on from Mars to Puerto Rico. This is a story comes to us from Roger Marsh. Puerto Rico witness at Isabela recalled an odd encounter with a disc-shaped UFO that followed her mother's car, according to April 11, 2014 testimony from the MUFON database. The reporting witness was walking home from work with a friend on October 18, 1990, when she noticed that her mother and two siblings inside their vehicle, scared and pale. She said her mother asked her to watch what happened when she moved the car. She moved it out from bounded toward a cliffside. A huge disc shape came up and out of the witness stated. My mother backed up the car and it hit again. Then she pulled forward and it came out again. Then her mother then asked to meet at the home less than a block away. When she sped, the disc was at blinding speed after her. When I got home, it was parked, hovering toward my mother's house. All the neighbors saw it. It was 20 feet from us, from the cliff, hovering there. All the people wanted to touch it and throw rocks at it. I kept saying I was going to get my camera, but I never did. The craft was enormous. There was a low, almost faint hum. There were lights at the bottom flashing and back and forth, red, yellow, green, blue, orange, bright but not primary colors, like crystal-like and transparent. Eventually it moved away. Okay. Next, go to New Hampshire. New Hampshire witness catches UFO on the video. New Hampshire witness had Derry captured an unknown object crossing the sky on video about 1:44 p.m. on April 11th, according to the MUFON database. Had high-definition camera attached to a small RC quadcopter waiting to launch. The images were noticed in processing of the video. The witness included one video and 4 frames. There's the links right here. Video slowed the speed down to capture the still images. So let's take a look at one of these. Video. Take a look at an image here. Here's an image. There's our UFO in the sky right there. Video's not loading so quick. There we go. Alright, check out the links, look at them, see what you think. Let's move on from New Hampshire over to Massachusetts. Massachusetts parent and daughter in Rehoboth report watching the H-shaped UFO move in a straight line at a slow pace April 12th. The two were outside taking a break from raking their yard when the object was first noticed. It looked like an egg with straight line of travel, not bobbing or swaying, the reporting witness stated. It moved in a straight line at a slow pace and was hard to focus on because of the bright day. It was an egg-shaped object, white in color, not sure if it was glowing or reflecting, but it was definitely white. It seemed a little slow before slightly curving its course and staying straight after doing so, ascending upward and then not visible anymore. It was not rising like a balloon would. It appeared to be ascending while traveling across the sky slowly with no swaying or bobbing. It appeared to be controlled. Alright, moving from there to Peru. This is an article which claims that there's underwater alien cities in the Andes of Peru. Many of us have seen these circuit-board lakes all around the world, but they seem common in Peru and Lima. They show a structure below the surface of the lake which reveal an ancient, not an ancient civilization, but an advanced civilization far beyond our own. These structures are just the surface. They are an entrance to the cities 4 to 6 kilometers below the Earth's surface. Sure, this was recorded in 2007, but today most of the lakes appear the same, unchanged in circuit-board appearance, which tells me that this is not pixelation, because 2007 Google photos in 2014 show the same underwater structures. Alright, this is what you see when you look at it. This particular angle. I've run across some very interesting anomalies in lakes throughout Andres Mountain in Peru. The images come from Google Earth. Can be seen by anyone using this wonderful application. Came across these unidentified underwater anomalies while researching various places in the mountain of Peru. As you probably know, there's quite a number of ancient ruins such as Machu Picchu that have never been inhabited, that have been inhabited by the Inca and the civilizations much older than Inca. The other location I found is in the northern central Andes, about 200 miles northeast of Lima. Alright, very interesting indeed. Just a little video to go along with this. Alright, showing the zooming in action. But I'm going to leave that available for you so you can check it out. Alright, now one last piece here. I've heard the stories about the Nazis and having technology, UFO technology. Well, this is a piece about that. It's a just about 35-40 minute piece. Let's see, what is it exactly? 39 minutes, and it's Nazi UFO rumors persist. Aldebaran Mystery 2 documentary. Does the lurid tabloid myth of the Nazis' contact with space aliens and building flying saucers sound like the most outrageous science fiction? Well, this same legend, reconstructed from the radically altered view of quantum physics, takes on dramatic plausibility. Was the German Vril Society simply making practical application of universal free energy quantum physics technology? These questions and more are explored in this shocking documentary film that reveals the inside story about the Rill Society, which became the inner circle of the Fool Society, whose focus was on establishing communications with a group of extraterrestrials that began colonizing the planet Earth over 500 million years ago from a dying star system known as the Aldebaran star system. Alright, that's our UFO news for today. We jump away for just a couple moments. I'll be back. We're going to talk about the blood moon, Passover, and all of those good things which are upon us. Stay tuned. I'll be back.
Come into our circle, Great Spirit. Fill our souls with peace.
Great Spirit, send down your love, send down your love, send down your love to us from above. Great Spirit, send down your love, send down your love, send down your love to us from above. Oh, 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 oh. Great Spirit, shine down your light, shine down your light, shine down your light to light our way. Great Spirit, shine down your light, shine down your light, shine down your light to light our way. Oh, 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 oh.
Alright. Continuing on. Well, a great spirit is about to shine down its light upon us in a most spectacular way. Tonight we have a eclipse. It is a full moon eclipse, and it's called a blood moon because of the way in which it's going to be colored. And here in the United States we'll be able to get a good view of this, which is nice because we haven't had that opportunity in all of these a number of things that have gone on lately with the sun and the moon. Predictions for the eclipse are summarized in figures 1, 2, 3. World maps show the regions of visibility for each eclipse. The lunar eclipse diagrams also include the path of the moon through the Earth's shadows. Contact times for each of these principal phases are tabulated along magnitudes and geocentric coordinates of the sun and moon's great eclipse. Okay. It says all times used in this publication are in universal time. This astronomically derived time system is colloquially referred to as Greenwich Mean Time, or GMT. To learn more about UT and how to convert UT to your own local time, see time zones and universal time. Okay, so you can click on there to find out. But here we go. It says the first of the eclipse of the year is well placed for observers throughout the Western Hemisphere. The eclipse occurs at the lunar orbit, ascending node in Virgo. The apparent diameter of the moon is close to its average since the eclipse occurs nearly midway between apogee and perigee. This is the first of the 4 consecutive total lunar eclipses in 2014 and 15. The moon's orbital trajectory, well, it goes through all little details here. You can see when the phases are going to take place. Nice good maps and some information for you. So let me jump on from here to the next one. This talks about the eclipse as well. Total lunar eclipse will occur on April 15th. It will be visible from North America, South America, Australia, parts of Asia, Africa, Europe will see a partial eclipse. The penumbral phase of the eclipse will begin at 4:55 a.m. Universal Time on the 15th and will eclipse at the end. Will end at 10:36 a.m. This is on the 15th Universal Time. The eclipse will be the first in a series of 4 consecutive total lunar eclipses known as a tetrad. The term blood moon has recently become popular while referring to the April 15 total lunar eclipse. The term has no technical or astronomical basis, and it's unclear where a description comes from, according to this date and time article here. Okay. Some animations about it. The idea of what it will look like. And here, a little more specifics on some times. It says, when can I watch the lunar eclipse in Los Angeles? A total lunar eclipse will be seen over Los Angeles and most of North America beginning Monday night Pacific time. In Los Angeles, the most impressive part of the eclipse begins at 10:58 p.m. Monday night, when the first bite is taken out of the moon and spreads across the rest of it, blotting it out completely by 12:06 a.m. Tuesday, the Griffith Observatory said, "Look to the south and the moon will be roughly 45 degrees up," said Joel Sherrard, an amateur astronomer who doubles as a National Weather Service meteorologist in Oxnard. As the bite spreads across the moon, it will transform into a dark blood moon. It's colored a dark red because all the light from the sunset and sunrises all over the rest of the earth will still color the moon. The good news for Los Angeles, the weather forecast looks great. We'll have clear skies even down to the beaches. It'll be a great time to see Mars, which will be the brightest point of light near the moon. The second brightest star will be Spica in the constellation of Virgo. If you go to watch the eclipse, try not to be too late, he said. Once the eclipse becomes total, it might be somewhat hard to see at this point. Monday's lunar eclipse will be the first in more than 3 years to be visible from LA and uninterrupted by sunset. So, there you go. So tonight, I certainly will be out checking it out. 10:58 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. East Coast, that's just shy of 1 p.m. And alright. So today being the first, well, not the first, tomorrow is the first day of Passover. Tonight is when the Seder begins. The Seder is a particular introduction and opening ceremony, so to speak, for the Passover service, kind of setting the tone for what it's all about. There's a series of prayers that are spoke of during the Seder. It says a quick overview of the Seder steps. Click on the print button, you can print this all out. It says at the Seder, every person should see himself as if he were going out of Egypt, beginning with our patriarchs Adam, Isaac, and Jacob. We recount the Jewish people's descent into Egypt and recall their suffering and persecution. We are with them as God sends the 10 plagues to punish Pharaoh and his nation, and follow along as they leave Egypt and cross the Sea of Reeds. We witness the miraculous hand of God as the waters part to allow the Israelites to pass, then return to inundate the Egyptian legions. Seder begins with a recitation of the Kiddush, proclaiming the holiness of the holiday. This is done over a cup of wine, the first of 4 cups that are drunk during the course of the evening. Why 4 cups? The Torah uses 4 expressions of freedom or deliverance in connection with the liberation from Egypt. Also, the children of Israel had 4 great merits, even while in exile. They did not change their Hebrew names. They continued to speak their own language, Hebrew. They remained highly moral, and they remained loyal to one another. Wine is used because it is a symbol of joy and happiness. When drinking the 4 cups and eating the matzah, we lean on our left side to accentuate the fact that we are free people. In ancient times, only free people had the luxury of reclining while eating. We wash our hands in the usual ritually prescribed manner as done before a meal, but without the customary blessing. The next step in the Seder, karpas, requires dipping food into water, which in turn mandates, according to Jewish law, that either food be eaten with a utensil or that one's hands be purified by washing. On the Seder Eve, we choose the less common observance to arouse the child's curiosity. And we have a small piece of onion or boiled potatoes dipped in salt water and eaten after reciting the blessing over vegetables. Dipping the karpas in salt water is an act of pleasure and freedom which further arouses the child's curiosity. The Hebrew word karpas, when read backwards, alludes to the back-breaking labor performed by the 600,000 Jews in Egypt. Samek has the numerical equivalent of 60, representing 60 times 10,000. Or the last 3 Hebrew letters spell perch, hard work. Salt water represents the tears of our ancestors in Egypt. The middle matzah is the Seder plate is broken into 2. The larger part is put aside for later use as the afkuman. This unusual action not only attracts the children's attention once again, but also recalls splitting of the Sea of Reeds to allow the children of Israel to cross on dry land. The smaller part, the middle matzah, is returned to the Seder plate. The broken middle matzah symbolizes humility and be eaten later as the bread of poverty. At this point, poor are invited to join the Seder. The Seder tray is moved aside. A second cup of wine is poured on the child, who by now is bustling with curiosity. He asks the time-honored questions. Why is this night different from all others? Why only matzah? Why the dipping? Why the bitter herbs? Right, so here's the whole layout. The questions are answered so the kids understand. The child's questioning triggers one of the most significant mitzvot, the Passover, which is the highlight of the Seder ceremony, the Haggadah, telling the story of the Exodus from Egypt. The answer includes a brief review of history, a description of the suffering imposed upon the Israelites, a list of the plagues visited by the Egyptians, and enumeration of the miracles performed by the Almighty for the redemption of his people. After concluding the first part of the Haggadah by drinking the second cup of wine while reclining, the hands are washed again, this time with the customary blessing, as usually done before eating bread. Then, taking hold of the three matzah, with the broken one in between the two whole ones, they recite the customary blessing before the bread, then letting the bottom matzah drop back into the plate and holding the top whole matzah with the broken middle one, reciting the special blessing, achilat matzah. Then break at least 1 ounce from each matzah and eat 2 pieces together while reclining. Take at least 1 ounce of the bitter herbs, dip it into the charoset, and then shake the latter off, making the blessing al achilat maror. Eat without reclining. And then, in keeping with the custom instituted by Hillel, the great Talmudic sage, sandwich of matzah or maror is eaten. Break off 2 pieces of the bottom matzah, which together should be at least 1 ounce. Again, take at least 1 ounce of bitter herbs, dip it into the charoset, place this between the 2 pieces of matzah, say kinasa Hillel, and eat the sandwich while reclining. The holiday meal is now served. We begin the meal with hard-boiled egg dipped into salt water. A rabbi was once asked why Jews eat eggs in Passover. He said because eggs symbolize the Jew. The rabbi answered, the more an egg is burned or boiled, the harder it gets. It says the chicken neck is not eaten during the Seder, just a little note there. Then after the meal, the half matzah, which has been hidden, set aside for the afkioman, which is dessert, is taken out and eaten. It symbolizes the Paschal lamb, which was eaten at the end of the meal. Everyone should eat at least 1.5 ounces of matzah, reclining before midnight. After eating the afkioman, we do not eat or drink anything except for the 2 remaining cups of wine. The third cup of wine is filled and grace is recited. After grace, we recite the blessing over wine and drink the third cup after reclining. Now we fill the cup of Elijah and our own cup with wine. We open the door and recite the passage, which is an invitation to the prophet Elijah, the harbinger of coming of Moshiach, our righteous Messiah. At this point, we have recognized the Almighty and his unique guidance of the Jewish people. We go still further and sing his praises as Lord of the entire universe. After reciting the Hallel, we again recite the blessing over wine and drink the 4th cup reclining. Finally, having carried out the Seder service properly, we are sure that we have been well received by the Almighty. Then we say, Shana Habada Bi Rashalayim, next year in Jerusalem. Alright, so that's a little brief summary. Seder in a nutshell, so you kind of know what's going on. And if you're going to follow along, print this out and you have it. I found some readings here. These are some readings that can be used at your Seder. Got a couple different ones. So when your guests assemble, one of these readings could be the first words used around the table to welcome everyone and set the mood for your gathering. We have some nice ones. See, it deals with the issues of faithfulness, thankfulness. Okay. I'll read a little bit of this one here. The Passover Seder goes beyond words to open the senses. See the sights of Passover. See the Seder plate at your dinner table. See your family and friends gathered together. See your children find the Afkoman. Open your eyes and welcome the season of spring. Hear the sounds of Passover. Hear the singing of your children and parents. Hear the breaking of the matzah. Hear the children ask questions. Listen to our history retold generation to generation. Taste the flavors of Passover. Taste the bitter herbs and the sweet charosets. Taste the bread of our ancestors. Taste the tears and joy of our ancestors. Savor the flavor of your traditional Passover dinner. Smell the scents of Passover. Smell the matzo ball soup. Smell the gefilte fish and sweet wine. Smell the new blossoms of spring. Inhale the smells that fill your home tonight. Feel the wonder of Passover. Feel the warmth of glowing candles. Feel the traditional family. Feel the love of God holding your child's hand. And feel the joy and blessing of your freedom. How lucky we are. How good is our fortune as our Seder begins. Okay, so there you go. A little something to incorporate tonight. Whether you're brought up Jewish or not, doesn't matter. Because we've all lived multiple lives. So maybe in this particular lifetime, you're not in the body of a Jewish person, but perhaps in another lifetime you were. So we have to go inside to find out what is that connection inside. That's what it's all about. It's not about the exterior, it's about the interior. And that's what we're learning more and more in life all the time, that when we go in, things work out really well for us. Now, Jesus was certainly somebody who practiced and observed the Passover holiday. Here is an example. This comes from Luke chapter 22. Now the feast of unleavened bread drew near, which is called Passover. And the chief priests and the scribes were seeking how to put him to death, for they feared the people. Then Satan entered into Judas, called Iscariot, who was of the number of 12. He went away and conferred with the chief priests and officers how he might betray him to them. And they were glad and agreed to give him money, so he consented and sought an opportunity to betray him in the absence of the crowd. Then came the day of the unleavened bread, on which the Passover lamb had to be sacrificed. So Jesus sent Peter and John, saying, Go and prepare the Passover for us, that we may eat it. They said to him, Where will you have us prepare it? He said, Behold, when you have entered the city, a man carrying a jar of water will meet you. Follow him into the house that he enters, and tell the master of the house, The teacher says to you, Where is the guest room where I may eat the Passover with my disciples? And he will show you a large upper room, furnished. Prepare it there. And they went and found it just as he had told them, and they prepared the Passover. And the hour came when he reclined at a table, and the apostles with him. And he said to them, I have earnestly desired to eat the Passover with you before I suffer. For I tell you that I will not eat until it is fulfilled in the kingdom of God. And he took a cup, and he had given thanks, and he said, Take this and divide it amongst yourself. For I tell you that from now on I will not drink of the fruit of the vine until the kingdom of God comes. And he took bread, and then he gave thanks, and he broke and gave it to them, saying, This is my body, which is given for you. Do this in remembrance of me. And likewise the cup after they had eaten, saying, This cup that is poured out for you is the new covenant in my blood. But behold, the hand of him who betrays me is with me at this table. For that Son of Man goes as it has been determined, but woe to that man by whom he is betrayed. And they began to question one another, which could it be who was going to do this? So the story goes on, the rest of the arrest that came from Jesus, with Jesus in the garden at this point. But the point being was to connect and show Jesus how he was following Passover. And if you notice in this one right here, when the hour came, he reclined at a table. So having just read the part about the Seder, we understand what the reclining was about, right? When he's drinking the wine, Jesus was participating fully in this Passover feast, in this celebration that was taking place. And we can see the examples just by studying and understanding part of one tradition. We could see that tradition played out here very clearly. And just by looking at the words, the reclining, he's got the wine, the cups, he's giving the thanks, all the things that, were definitely talked about. And then the story how Jesus went and was up on the Mount of Olives, and he was betrayed, and they took him away, arrested him, Peter denied him. Okay, so I'm going to leave the rest of this for you to read, but this is a very fascinating time of the year It's a time of the year when we really get to explore a bit about who we are and what we're about. What is Passover truly about? Passover is a time when we're told that we remember the Exodus from Egypt. But Passover prior to the Exodus from Egypt was when the angel came, the angel of death, and she passed over the houses of those who had put the blood of the lamb on their doorstep, all around their door. And so the angel would pass over. So that was the exact Passover moment, and it was from that moment we're told that Pharaoh had a change of heart, that it was time now for the Israelites, for the Hebrews to leave and go to their homeland, go to Canaan. And that is exactly what happened. We know the journey they left there with Moses. We hear the story of the crossing of the Red Sea, and then the Ten Commandments, and so on. It was a long journey, but this was all part of what was taking place then. Okay, so it's an important time, and to see what Passover means to us. And again, it doesn't matter if you're Christian. It doesn't matter if you're Jewish. What matters is that you believe in God and you understand that there is a bigger plan for all of us, that we are part of a bigger plan, that the bigger plan flows through us, and the only thing that blocks us from knowing it is whatever we put in the way to block it. That we have access to all of this information, and so through these various spiritual practices and these traditions, it's to remind us of what it is that we truly are inside. And again, we need to go inside to find these things, because we look outside all the time and we don't find them, right? We find some satisfaction outside, but we go inside. And as we're learning from all of this source material that has been read and we've been studying here, we're reminded you go inside. You go into affect that higher level of energy, so it trickles down to the lower level of energy. The higher vibration affects the lower, and so on. Okay, so good stuff here. I'm going to leave this for you so you can read it and use it as you will over the course of this Passover season. Now, here's an article I want to bring up. This is Preparing for Graduation 5D. Kim Hutchison. Earth is a classroom for the soul. For most of us, this is our last 3D incarnation. We are getting ready to graduate up to the next dimension. In preparation, we are busy cleaning up the loose ends from this lifetime and from prior incarnations. Preparing for spiritual graduation is akin to preparing for high school graduation. Students scramble to finish assignments and pass exams so they can graduate with their class. Some work with tutors and bring up their grades and pass challenging courses. Others take full advantage of extracurricular activity. Most students feel ready to graduate, although many are apprehensive about the unknown future. Those who do know where they're going are anxious to get on with their new life, and so interest in their present life wanes. The majority are worried about poignant events and exciting beginnings. Many friendships and romantic pairings begin to fizzle out. It's a time of beginnings and endings. Earth is like a giant one-room classroom in which all students of all levels are learning side by side. Within the classroom, there are learning stations where students learn their own pace. Through group-based activities, students do not compete against each other. They are focused instead on achieving their personal best. Frequent feedback is provided internally and externally, which helps them to correct mistakes. At the end of each trip to Earth School, students assess their progress through a life review, which provides them with guidelines for future instruction, called karma. Souls start as a group and then move through learning stations at their own pace. Some may skip a grade while others repeat, and still others may drop out of school. There is no right or wrong path back to the divine. There are cosmic cycles of 13,000 years, half the precession of the equinoxes, which you might say roughly equate to 13 years of grade school on Earth. At the start of each cycle, a new group of souls comes to Earth to begin their education. At the end of the cycle, these souls move to another learning laboratory. We are at the beginning of our learning cycle, which means we're at the end of our learning cycle, which means we are preparing to graduate from 3D Earth to new 5D classroom. Before we move on, we have to finish many lessons, karma, as possible. The main task at hand for the majority of people is to resolve karma, especially karma is unfinished lessons or learning opportunities. You accumulate karma when you act in a way that is not in alignment with your highest lesson, with your highest self. Each lifetime here we chip away at old karma and we accrue new. Considering humans have spiritual amnesia, you can imagine how much karma we've accumulated. In light of our pending graduation, the time for accruing new karma is past. Now, when we make a misstep, our karma confronts us almost instantly. Similarly, once we think we've learned a lesson, our mastery is tested right away. We have no time to accrue new karma, so that we have to attend it as we create it. Additionally, we are going through accelerated karmic purge. Past life karma keeps coming up for us to heal and release. We no sooner get through this one lesson than another pops up. There is very little time between tasks to rest. This can feel overwhelming at times. You may think you're going crazy or feel that life is a mess. It isn't. You're just tying up loose ends from many lifetimes. At the end of every earthly incarnation, a soul is gently and lovingly guided through a review process of a soul review. This helps us to appreciate the lessons we have learned and to identify areas which further require study. The impending astute graduate, however, the process is different. We are preparing to step off the wheel of karma, the birth, death, rebirth cycle. This means that we have to undergo the life process right away. This includes facing up to our mistakes and those of others, and then forgiving everyone involved. Needless to say, doing a life review and burning up karma while you're still in 3D form is insanely difficult. Thankfully, we have lots of help. Earth is a cooperative classroom, so students complete their own assignments. They then assist fellow classmates with their karma. Helpers include healers and spiritual guides along the undercover do-gooders. And if you find yourself in this group, then chances are you are very busy helping to resolve karma for your family, friends, soul group, city, country, gender, ethnic group, and so forth. Even souls with no past earthly lives are helping to resolve Earth's collective karma. Star seeds frequently say that they feel like they were abandoned in an insane asylum. You volunteered to help, but nothing could fully prepare you for the challenges of Earth. In a learning laboratory called life, we are all teachers and students. We are here to learn from one another. No one has all the answers. As long as you're still here, there are lessons for you to learn. Whenever you master a lesson, you automatically become a teacher for others. Some souls have more past life 3D experience, and so these old souls frequently incarnate into younger soul families in order to accelerate their learning. If you feel like an outsider in your family, chances are you're a teacher for your loved ones. In addition to earthly helpers, there are many off-world beings who are helping us prepare for graduation. These include angels, ascended masters, soul groups, and higher selves, along with beings from other planets and dimensions. You can call on them for help whenever you need. They will lovingly guide and inspire you and help you in any way they can, short of doing your homework for you. Intrinsically, we know the graduation day is looming large. Most of us can feel the energy shifting higher and higher. We can see evidence of changes in our personal lives as well as on a global stage. You may not feel ready to graduate, but if you're ready, reading this article, chances are most of you are likely ready. Still, you probably won't have much time to sit back and reflect upon this, for we are like high school students who work until the final day of class. So do your best you can and have faith that all will work out beautifully. Alright, so that's the process we're going through. It's not the first time you've heard it, is it? You've heard it over and over and over again. And when we hear some things over and over and over again, some point in time we get a clue that something's going on, right? So we know. Alright, here's a message. This one today comes to us from High Council of Orion. Here we go.
Honor, channeled ascension message from the High Council of Orion.
April 10, 2014, channeled by Holly Hawkins Marwood, transcribed by Paul Marwood.
Greetings, dear ones. We are the High Council of Orion. Today we'd like to share a message about honor, what this word means and what it means, most importantly, energetically in your world right now. When we say in your world, we mean not just your world, the planet you're on, but your individual world in the moment. Honor is a word that has a lot of power and glory to it because you see the places that the word honor is used, and it's a word of exaltation. It's a word of expansive energies. There's an admiration. There's a respect that's bestowed in the use of the word honor wherever you see it. So our question today then becomes, How do you honor yourself? How do you extend that level of love and respect for yourself and honor yourself, which puts the energy of who you are and what you're doing for yourself on a whole other level than the shoulds and this should not? The shoulds and the should nots have a lot of judgment about what's right and wrong and good and bad and whether you are successful or not successful around it. When you bring the energy of honor to yourself, you're extending this high level of respect for yourself on your soul's journey. So where are the areas of your life that you can honor who you are as a human, who you are towards yourself, who you are towards the people you come in contact with, the way you live your life? How can you honor yourself? Where are the places that are honorable in your life? Can you lift those up and acknowledge those and feel into the incredible energy of who you are as a soul on your path? As you step to the place of honoring yourself, you are stepping beyond the black and the white, the should and should not, the judgment. You're lifting yourself up with light through the word of honoring yourself. We encourage each and every one of you to honor who you are, your accomplishments, and what you're bringing to the table in your life. This could be about any interaction you have with other people, and especially the interactions with yourself. Can you honor yourself for exactly the choices you've made and where you are? Can you honor what you've learned from those experiences? Can you honor the life you've chosen through all of its experiences as being guided by your soul and moving you into a more and more positive direction, even if, at the moment, some of the human circumstances might not feel that easy? Beyond that, how do you honor the other people around you? Again, this goes beyond respect, this goes beyond judgment, this goes beyond better or worse. Can you honor people in your life and the accomplishments they've done, the way they interact with other people, just the same way you can honor yourself? Feel into the place of you honoring yourself. Feel the energy of expansion that comes with this. That energy that you feel expanding is you connecting more into your soul level truth. It's expanding you into the greater energetic reality of who you are as you begin to honor yourself and extend that energy of honor to other people. We invite you to play with this idea and feel the energy of honor that contains a vibratory reality that is very refined, very soft, and very subtle. It transcends the realms of third-dimensional judgment. As you begin to honor yourself and those around you more and more, you loosen the grip of the need to be as conscious of the black and white reality at the third dimension. Working with the energy of honor allows you to begin embracing and bringing more of those higher dimensional frequencies into your life that so many of you are looking to embody. Enjoy honoring yourself. Enjoy honoring others around you. Enjoy honoring the beauty you see in nature. See how that can expand and change your experience of your daily life. Be blessed. We are the High Council of Orion.
Alright, very good. Let's move on from here to our meditation for today. So go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale again. I want you to imagine that you're walking along a path. And you see others upon that path. And as you look at each other, you realize you've been walking for quite some time. And as you've been walking, you know that you've been protected. You've been looked over, taken care of along your long, long journey. And now you've arrived at a place to rest. You see a cottage, the door is open. You could see a light shining from inside, welcoming you in. You go and you sit and you rest. And there is a meal prepared for you. So you eat and you drink. And you let go of all of the burdens that you've been carrying just for a short while. To give thanks and appreciation. So imagine yourself sending out thankfulness and appreciation to the universe for all that you have. And all that you shall have. All that you know and all that you shall know. And as you just put yourself and keep yourself in this place of thankfulness, experiences of life open up before you in new ways. And as you contemplate the ideas of Passover and the meanings, you begin to understand deeper and deeper meanings to the stories, to the traditions, and you realize that they go much more, much deeper, and that we are all connected in this celebration as we learn the lessons of passing over life through death and death through life. Let's imagine the world, the globe, planet Earth, and let's just imagine sending love down into the planet, and at the same time sending a plea for forgiveness, asking for forgiveness from the earth for all the ways in which we have abused the earth, and also send thankfulness for all the ways in which the earth has nurtured us. And let's send this love out into the cosmos to the brothers and sisters and all of those beings around us, seen and unseen, who are assisting us with this process of change. And let's just think of those near and dear to us, our friends, our family. Let's imagine them surrounded and protected in light and love. And let's think a good thought for the world today, that we may collectively come together in understanding the peace and love, and all work together to make this world better and better each and every day. Take another deep breath, exhale, and open your eyes. And that's it, my friends. That's our show for today. Thank you very much for being here. There's some good information that maybe you can use tonight if you're performing a Seder. If you're going to look at the moon tonight, let's try this. During that course of that time when that moon's out there, we can all focus because we'll be looking at it. Let's send love up to the moon at the time when it's at its height, when we see that full eclipse taking place. Let's just imagine projecting love up to there. Something that we can all do according to the timing of the planets and the stars. So let's make it happen tonight. When the moon is at its height, we want to be sending love, knowing that all others around the world are doing exactly that same thing at exactly that same moment. All right, that's it. Enjoy the eclipse. I'll be back tomorrow with more news and information. Peace. I'm out of here.